Hey, before I kick off the podcast, I just want to shout out Next Door Clothing. Next Door, a clothing brand based out of Bondi in Sydney. They're making really nice jeans and shirts and hats. So go and check out their full range at nextdoorsydney.com. They're also artists, so you can go and check out a range of art. They put on rad parties, and I love what they're doing. So nextdoorsydney.com for the full range. This is for Clement Otis. All right, so you can support the THT podcast by becoming a Patreon. So we now have a Patreon. You can pay for the monthly subscription, and 10% of all subscriptions are donated to the causes that the guests on THT advocate for. You'll also be supporting the production of the show and the show's ability to access guests that can bring educational value. So get onto the Patreon. The link is on the terriblehappytalks.com website. While you're there, there's links to our sponsors, and by clicking on the links to our sponsors, you can use the THT discount code and get some value and get some discounts on products such as Indosol footwear, Crush Organics CBD products, and Kingpin skate supply. So get on it, support the show. Terrible Happy Talks. Terrible Happy Talks.
Yeah, good to be here, man. Whoa. Go there. Yeah. 3, 2, 1.
Alright, let's do this. Today's guest is Garrett Stratford-Cutler. Garrett is a self-described alpha heterosexual. When he's not Sorry, man. This is going to be interesting. When he's not scrolling Tinder, spinning plates, or making gains in the gym, Garrett works as a teacher at an international private school in Bangkok, Thailand. I worked with Garrett at the Green School in Bali many years ago, and needless to say, he was my kind of weird, and we became good friends immediately. Garrett believes in love and wears his heart on his sleeve in this brutal world of online everything. This week, Garrett joins me live from his home in Thailand to check in, share journey, and give an insight into a male's perspective of modern-day dating and relationships. Are you ready for this?
Oh man, I don't know if I can give a good look into that, but I can try.
Yeah. It's the GSC comedy hour, I'm going to call it. So,
I love it. Yeah.
Garrett Stratford-Cutler, welcome. How are you?
I'll tell you what, you're an orator, man. I forgot how beautifully you speak, and the words that you put together. It's poetic, man. Poetic.
Oh man, thank you, brother. Thank you.
Man.
Listen, this is the second time you've been on the show, and I love having guests back on. Last time you were on, we were in Bali. We recorded, and it feels like it was just a different world to what we're in now. Can you give us a bit of an update since our last recording in Bali? So where are you up to? What are you doing with yourself?
Yeah, man. Well, I was thinking about that. I think I was your 40th guest, right? Did you start that? And did you start in Bali, or was it just before you came? You started in Bali, right?
Correct.
Yeah. And I was trying to think, because that was a while ago. If you think back, right? I mean, this is now number 156, is it?
You'll be 158.
Yeah, that's amazing. I mean, that's unbelievable. First of all, before I even go into what I've been doing, it's what an accomplishment. That's pretty awesome what you've made of this show, and it's turned into something really special. So congratulations on that. That's awesome, man. Really good stuff.
Thank you, sir.
So when was that? Was that 2000 and was that 19? No. 2018?
No, it's 2019. Yeah.
2019, 3 years ago. That was pre-COVID, huh? So it's definitely a different time. I think we were both in different spaces, kind of mentally and emotionally. I remember we connected, right off the bat, and you stepped into a pretty hard position, and we both kind of, we were doing our thing at Green School, and definitely had something really good going. And as you know, it's that place is special, right? It's tough. it can be tough, but it's got a really special feel to it. And I definitely miss that. But, I've been in Bangkok now for 2 years. So it was a pretty big transition for me living near an ocean for 20 years and then straight to a city. And, out of those 20 years, the last 9 or 8 were on an island, So I was in Phuket for 5 years and then Bali for 3. And I always said, if I had to live in a city, I would choose Bangkok, but it was definitely still, obviously we talked a lot, and it was a very difficult transition for sure. I still struggle with it, obviously, not being near an ocean, as you can probably understand, but it's just, it's the plan is to get back to Bali after next year. Do 1 more year here and then head back to Bali. But obviously a lot can happen in 1 year. So,
Yeah. Why Bangkok?
The opportunity that I got here was, something that I couldn't really pass up, for a brand new school, which I have never really worked for. Obviously it's a startup, and I was going to be developing the program there. The package was amazing. That was something I to be honest with you, I wasn't planning on leaving Bali at all. I just I was searching around to try and get a kind of a bargaining chip under my thumb, and the offer came in, and it was just, that was really the main reason I had to take it, to kind of it was kind of life-changing financially, and would basically set me up a little bit better to be back in Bali more long-term. So, but it was a really cool opportunity. The school was really aligned with a lot of my values and the values at the previous schools that I had worked at also. So.
Wow, man. So this is great. And I'm like, yeah, man, this is cool. I catch up. But really, I just want to ask you this question.
Let's hear it. The nitty-gritty. What have you got?
Okay, I need to know. Are you single?
I am. Yeah, I'm single now. Yeah, I'm single. I've been on the market for a few months now.
On the market.
Back in the game. Back in the game.
On the market. Back in the. Is it a game?
Listen, man. I mean, I was away for quite a hiatus there, man. I was off the grid for 2.5 years or so. I had a girlfriend, and I actually was off. I went on a surf trip to Sumbawa with Lance actually, and just decided to go off of everything. And I actually, got off of. Obviously, I wasn't on the dating sites anyways because I was, I had a girlfriend, but. Facebook and Instagram were done. So I was off that for up until this past December, which I don't know why I decided to go back on, but it's probably a terrible decision on my part.
What, going off it?
Yeah. Oh, no, going back on. I went back on, revisited social media, I guess you could say, this past December. So after about 2 hours. Can't even speak now. 2 years off, so.
What prompted you to go off it in the first place?
I don't know. I was just tired of it. Just tired. Too much time. I was spending too much time on it. Just the usual stuff and looking at stuff. Yeah. I mean, I didn't have the energy to clear out, the people that I followed, to just kind of keep it focused on inspirational people and this and that. And, just a lot of unnecessary stuff. But I mean, it's tough, right? It's it kind of has you by the balls because it's you have a lot of memories on there. It's a really great way to keep in touch with friends and family and to see what people are doing, for them to see what you're doing, especially if you're abroad, or even if you're not abroad, you get to, catch up with people's families and where they're at, and, kids that guys that you went to school with and girls that you went to school with when you were younger. But then at the same time, it's it's like handcuffs, it's like the technological handcuffs, or what do you want to call them? It's just, I think that was the main reason. I just felt like I was spending too much time on it and was just getting kind of annoyed with myself and what I was looking at and stuff. So,
yeah, interesting. Yeah, I mean, it is a great way to journal. Sometimes if I scroll back through my Instagram profile from a couple of years ago, it brings up really good memories. So it has positives. I think for me personally is this. I do. I really struggle with my ability to regulate my use of it. And I know exactly what's happening. Like, I know I'm just a slave to it. I know that the algorithm is completely owning me, but I just can't stop looking at it.
Yeah, and I've really noticed that the last few months. What is it? December, January, February, March, April, May. Yeah, I've been back on for like 6 months, and it's just been it's literally like you said. It's just you know that you shouldn't be scrolling there, but it becomes like we talk about. It's like your brain gets wired, and it's like it becomes a habit, and obviously it's a habit that's tough to break, especially nowadays. And then you start scrolling. Next thing you know, you're wasting all this time, and it's just like you said. It's that's what they do, though. That's what these people do at these companies. They know how to get you in and get the dopamine hits and stuff. And next thing you know, it's a lot. It's a time sucker. But again, at the same time, like you said, it's like I've spoken to people that I haven't spoken to in decades or years, and it's been nice to kind of catch up. But it's a lot of time. It's tough because that you should be doing something else. But yeah.
Has getting back on it got anything to do with you now being single?
Yeah, I'd say. Yeah, I mean, yeah. Well, let's see. I became yeah, for sure. I mean, listen, that's another unfortunate thing. Like, it's just like it is what it is. You kind of have to do it, right? I mean, it's like that's where we're at right now. It's like you cannot do it if you want, but then it's almost like you're a weirdo if you don't have some sort of social media. It's like, oh really? Like, what do you
Okay,
so.
Serious question. Let's say in this online world, an online dating world especially, is your Instagram profile almost like a safety feature for potential suitors when they want to maybe research you and see what you're about? Do you think it's like necessary to make them feel comfortable to some degree?
Yeah. I mean, that's from what I've heard and spoken to people that have been on for a long time. They say that's kind of a big thing. Like, some people were like, oh, it's, if people don't have it, then it's like, what, how are you supposed to kind of check up on them and, look at what their likes are, what their interests are, or whatever. I mean, I remember when I was last on it that must have been 2018, maybe something like that. 2000. Yeah. Just before I had met my ex, and I don't remember Instagram being so big, like, connected so much with it. But now I've noticed since I've come back on it, it's it's a pretty big thing. Like, everyone, it's like people now say it's like, oh, if we don't match, check out my Instagram. It's like, well, okay, it's a great way to like to get a lot of stalkers if that's what you want,
Yeah. I guess I just think about it as being weird because it just shows how entrenched we are in it, in terms of Instagram itself is kind of fake and you can manipulate that any way you want, really. And yet we're using it as social currency to, like, keep ourselves, like, this idea of being safe by being able to check up on someone. And then I think, I think, why do people feel comfortable enough on that platform to share so much of their life so openly as well? It's really weird how comfortable people are with that.
Yeah, I think we're in a really weird place. I mean, it is really strange if you think about it. I mean, I'm not going to say, like, I'm guilty as well at some points, but it's some of the stuff that people share. And the thing is, there's no age level either. Like, I mean, I know people that are, in their 60s and 70s that are on it and you see them, they're just scrolling through stuff, same as everybody else is doing. And, I mean, there are a lot of really weird moving parts about it. Like, there's so many different angles and there are so many different, like, motives for people to post and to check up and there's just, you don't know. There's just so much going on, and it's like, it's become so big that it's like, it's really an interesting time to be alive.
Have you ever stalked someone on Instagram?
Come on, is it like what else? What do people do on Instagram?
I mean, that term stalked is loosely used because it's not really stalking. It's basically just going in and checking their profile. And if they've got a public account, you're not really doing anything illegal.
Let's throw the bullshit out. Let's just throw the bullshit out. I mean, everyone fucking stalks on that thing. I don't care who you are. I really don't care. You want to sit here and tell me that you haven't looked at somebody's profile or seen that this person liked this person or that person, but whatever, blah, 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 and then next thing you're in a rabbit hole of fucking creepy stalkness. Don't tell me that. I don't believe anyone that said that. I love the people. Oh, I just post and I just go on there to inspire others or to be inspired. Fuck off. That's a load of bullshit. I mean, are you The Rock or are you like some survivor of some crazy accident? Fuck off. I mean, you're doing the same shit that everyone else does. You're trying to get attention. You're trying to stalk people. Let's just put it on the table.
Okay. I believe you. I mean,
I mean, sure. Like, I mean, I could tell you right now, I'm using it to hone in on my skills, my marketing skills for when I have a business. Yeah. Okay. Sure. I mean, yeah.
Oh, really? Do people say that?
I mean, you can. Why not?
Yeah. I mean, I hide behind that facade. I say, oh, yeah, I've only got Instagram because I want to promote the podcast. But really, I don't. I use it for other personal reasons.
Yeah.
Here's a question.
It's natural. It's natural, right? Don't you think you're going to check up on people and see what this person's up to, see what that person's up to? I mean, I'm not saying I'm a serial stalker, but like it's there. If you want to, it's there. It's easy. It's whether or not you want to your brain to fuck with you and to start going into this weird rabbit hole. It's just that, it's there.
Okay.
It's really there.
Well, I've got a couple of questions for you. First one is, have you ever been following someone on Instagram, like a girl, for example, and you create an idea of that person and not just like about how they look, but about what they're about as a person, what their ethics, what their morals are. But then you meet that person and they can turn out to be just completely the opposite or even worse. Have you ever come across that?
I mean, I think most people have, right? Like, I mean, maybe I'm just overthinking it, but I mean, it's basically a platform for that, right? I mean, you can be, especially if you don't know people, like you can be who you want to be, or you can make people think you are who you're someone else, or you're really happy, or you're really sad. I mean, you don't know. No one knows really. I mean, you don't know what's going on. I mean, I think that's the thing. That's like, it can be a bit. It's a weird situation. I think.
Yeah, it's full on. Like, people can put up whatever they like. It doesn't really reflect who they are. But I feel like in this society that we are actually using that as a way to actually gauge someone's happiness or sadness or where they're at. It's really strange. But here's a question for you. I think ego drives the use of social media so much. My question is, do you check to see who's looked at your stories?
I mean,
is that a stupid question? Occasionally? You post a story. Do you post a story and then go back and see how many people have looked at it or who has looked at it?
I mean, if I have time. Is that an answer? Is that a possible answer?
I don't believe you.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes, yeah, for sure. Sometimes, not all the time, but yeah, sometimes.
Okay. Well, why?
Of course. I mean, that's what I think. I think that's what you. Isn't that like a not? Do you?
I do it. Yeah, I do.
I think it would be hard to do if you have. I feel like it'd be hard to do if you have if you're one of these you have a zillion followers or whatever, and you're you're Mark Wahlberg and shit. I don't think you're checking to see who's looking at your story. But
out of all the people you could, why'd you pick Mark Wahlberg? It's so funny.
I just watched a movie with him the other night, and I love.
Oh yeah,
I love him.
Which one? Ted 2?
No. What's the one with the pumping one? The one right with him and The Rock, and that's why I mentioned The Rock too. Right? The Rock. They're all
okay.
like they all. the true story. They're the weight builders, and they get into the drug thing or whatever. I don't know, it's pretty funny. I watched it for the first time. I thought it sucked. Then I watched it again. It was all right.
Is it based on a true
And I
story?
like Mark Wahlberg too. Yeah, yeah.
Is
I
it?
forget what it's called. Pumping something or iron. I don't know who the fuck knows.
Listen, man.
But yeah, I think if you're Mark Wahlberg or Will Smith, you're not going to be checking who's on your stories. But yeah, maybe once in a while, it doesn't hurt, right?
Are they the kind of men you aspire to?
I mean, come on, Will Smith, as of right now, come on. Rich Cooper,
Why?
as our buddy Rich Cooper says, he's going through a betatization. He's been going through that for a lot of years.
What's a betatization? What does that mean? Like, is it beta male?
No, I'm not getting into that. I mean, you referred to me as an alpha. You referred to me as an alpha heterosexual?
Yeah.
Would that be like one of these red pill guys?
What's a red pill? What's that mean?
Well, I mean, you have the red. Apparently, this has been out for a long time. This red pill, blue pill philosophy of males.
What is
right?
it? I don't know what it is. Okay, what is it?
Yeah, the red pill. I mean, I would forget. I forget. There's a couple of different ways to look at it, but it's all about based on the matrix thing, right? So if you take the blue pill, I think you're just going your normal what do you call it? Like you're just feeding into society or whatever, and you're comfy and cozy, and if that means you're miserable or whatever. But then if you take the red pill, you're going off on a different path. And I mean, I don't know. I don't really know exactly. You want to split it up easily. It's like. Yeah, like the red pill alpha males are the ones that unplug from the lies that society and Disney movies have told them about being, white knights and all that. Whereas the blue pill guys are the opposite, I think. From what I understand.
Is it kind of implying that a blue pill guy is satisfied with mediocrity?
Yeah, I think so. I think that's what.
I think that's what it's alluding to.
I mean, I could be wrong. We'd have to look it up. There's a way to distinguish it. I'd like to think of myself as a purple pill guy, Shannon. I'm about balance. And I like to be. I mean, listen, purple.
Go, keep going. Sorry, I cut you off. Go.
No, I hope you cut me off because I'm rambling now. I can't really give you the. I'm not super educated in the red pill, blue pill kind of argument.
Okay, so
I know a little bit about it.
If we define blue pill as a fake reality, living in mediocrity, and a red pill as taking the road less travelled, however, it's a road to ultimate success and leadership. Would you be a red pill guy or a blue pill guy? If you had to choose. You said purple pill, which is middle of the road.
I'm a purple pill guy, dude. I'm a purple pill, man. You mix red and blue, you get purple, right? So why can't I balance it out and be a purple pill guy? I mean, I know that's not a choice in the Matrix, but what can I make up the term purple pill? Can I coin it? Unless somebody else already has. Somebody probably has. I mean.
But see, that's a red pill move. Like, that's an alpha move. Just going, well, no, fuck both of those ideas. I'm going to go my own road. So in my mind, that's an alpha move, which automatically makes you a red pill guy.
All right, so hold on. I'm looking at the actual definition here on Wikipedia. It says the terms red pill and blue pill refer to a choice between the willingness to learn a potentially unsettling or life-changing truth by taking the red pill, or remaining in contented ignorance with the blue pill. So we were right. We were spot on.
See, contented ignorance sounds all right to me. A lot of people do it, and they seem happy as hell.
Well, I think don't you think it depends on the person, right? It depends on the individual and the experiences that they've had and what they've gone through. And I think some people make the transformation throughout their lives, obviously. Some people will, carry on with that, like you said, what is a contented ignorance and be completely cool. Others might go through something, traumatic or something that might, change the way that they view something, and they decide that they want to transform themselves a little bit. So yeah. I think that just because you're never going to, I don't think you have to be a permanent blue pill or red pill type of person, right? I mean, you're gonna, and that's what that's the way that I'm viewing the purple pill thing is like, why can't you take a bit of the blue and take a bit of the red, combine the things that work for you, and then see what happens and take it from there. It's all like a learning experience, no?
So truth, a life of truth with a little bit of ignorance.
Why not? Everything can be balanced, right?
I think it's good. I like that idea.
I mean, just take what from either side works for you, and exercise it and see what happens. What's wrong with that? Why do you have to choose?
That's good. It's true. Yeah, I like that. It's a good. I didn't expect the conversation to go that direction, but I really like it. What you're saying, yeah, it makes sense. Yeah.
But I mean, if you're looking at it in terms of what I think you're looking at it about the alpha beta thing, that's that's a different. I mean, like again, I would like to refer to myself as a balanced guy. I'm in the middle. I'm a purple pill guy. In that argument, in that sense.
Okay, well, why is Will Smith a beta male?
I mean, you've watched the news and stuff, right?
Yeah, he slapped Chris Rock.
Well, you know something. I guess it's it's in everybody's opinion. I mean, a lot of people are saying that this has been happening to him for a long time. Like it's in the spotlight that he's just been kind of walked on by, Jada, and it's just it's kind of really shown some true colors, and some of it has been pretty ugly. You know what I mean? And it's just that he keeps kind of going back, and I don't know. There was that. I never watched that whole conversation between them. What was it, the red table thing or something, where they like kind of put it all out there, and it was just apparently it was really, I don't know. He's just getting walked on, and it's in public eye, and it's not good,
Did it make you respect him more or less?
I always loved Will Smith, man. Made me feel bad for him, actually. Didn't make me respect him or I mean, the guy's amazing. He's an amazing actor. I grew up with him, like from the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air to, everything. And I've always loved him, his work, whether it's been good work, shitty work, corny work, like it doesn't matter. I've loved it all. And it's, I feel bad for him because he's in pain, man. He's in pain. He's clearly in pain, and it's there for everyone to see. And that's why I think people are referring to him as a beta male, because it keeps happening again and again and again, and he's letting it happen again and again and again. This betatization situation, that's just been taking place for years, and it's hurting him. It's overall it's hurting. You know what I mean? I don't know. That's just kind of my opinion about it. But.
Dude, I love that. I love what you said. I think it's a really good analysis of it. I mean, I felt sorry for him. And going down a different sort of thought pattern, like biologically, I think it was actually a really good representation of the power of testosterone. So in a moment, he had this flush of testosterone that men get. And it really did sort of show how difficult it is for men to control the impulses that elicits. I think primarily, fundamentally, we are Neanderthals. We're primates. Reptilian brain kicks in, fight or flight, protect, all that just manifested in a single moment where the surroundings were completely disregarded. The setting was disregarded. The scale of the setting was completely not acknowledged by him. And he became fixated on this one person, protecting his wife or standing up for himself. And I think it shocked a lot of people, because I think a lot of people don't understand the power of testosterone. And it's so many men get themselves into trouble because of that and the urge to act on what it does. But in the same token, that same hormone has propelled the evolution and the survival of our species. I don't know, too deep?
Yeah. Yeah, no, and I think it's an interesting, I mean, that situation was interesting as it was because, I mean, obviously it's hard to gauge really because they're the editing, but I mean, there's these shots that just show him, laughing hysterically when Chris Rock makes the comment, and then it pans to Jada's face and she's pissed, and then that's when he flips the switch and then goes up, and it's obviously it's kind of hard to gauge on that because who knows with the cutting of the cameras and stuff, but I do think you have it's really interesting to think about where we've come from when we were apes, and the things that are still prevalent in our DNA. It's there. You can't argue it. You just can't. I mean, just the things that, the characteristics of males and females to this day. It just, like you said, and also it has done a lot for humanity too. The instincts that we have. I mean, both sides, and it's there. I mean, it's something that you can't argue. It's science, and it's the DNA is there, and it's we do take on these stereotypical roles as males and females. I mean, if we're allowed to say that, I mean, I don't know.
I think we are. I think it's okay to be a male. It's I've been sort of talking a lot about this. Men and women are different, and that's okay. Yeah. It really is. Yeah, well, us men are completely hopeless in a lot of situations and doing a lot of things, and women are better at some things than men are, and it's just a reality. And I think more acceptance of one another would really help the whole situation. I guess I just personally keep looking at the breakdown of relationships in our societies, especially Western societies, where it's become the cultural norm to separate or divorce, as opposed to other countries where divorce and separation is frowned upon, but that's also driving abuse and manipulation and coercion and things like that. So I don't know, Garrett. I don't know. It's a big conversation.
The institution. Yeah, I mean, the institution of marriage though is pretty it's a very old thing. And I mean, literally this idea of marriage being for love is extremely young. I mean, it came about in the 1800s and the Romanticism period, really. Before that, I mean, maybe before, I mean, for thousands of years, it's been for status, money, land, it was arranged, and I think, it is, it wasn't maybe in the 1800s or maybe even earlier. I don't know, but that's still pretty young. And I think that a lot of times it's like you said, in Western culture, maybe it's a bit different too, with the marital laws and stuff. But I mean, it's a very difficult institution. I think it's hard to survive.
Look, I don't have you on here. I'm not saying you're an expert in these things at all. You're just a guy.
Absolutely fucking not.
And you're just
I'm
a
single.
guy.
I've never been married.
Well, I know, and that's interesting, but you're just a guy who, lives in this world and sees it how you see it, and I'm really just speaking to you because I want to hear your personal perspective, because I like you and I respect you, so in no way are you here as an expert. But one of my questions that I actually had, and I wrote this down, do you think, and I think I've heard you talk about this concept, do you think marriage contracts should be renewable every 10 years? Was that your idea?
I think it's a great idea. Why not? I mean, or it doesn't have to be after 10 years. Maybe if you have kids, well, yeah, maybe 10 years, you just check in, see where you guys are at. Or you can, because then you're, if you have a kid, maybe check in after 18 years. I mean, I don't know. It's just, or why even get married nowadays, right? I mean, I'm not saying I have nothing against people that get married. I might even get married someday. I don't know. I've just been doing a lot of reflection in the last couple of years of my life. I'm going to be 40 in August, and I've just been really reflecting back. I've had a lot of experience now with people that I know getting married, getting divorced, having kids, getting the houses, getting remarried, having kids with other people. I've seen it all. I mean, I'm actually at the point now where I'm it used to be uncomfortable for me to watch when I was like maybe in my 30s, like, oh shit, am I doing the right thing here? Am I, maybe I should be settling down. Maybe I should be doing this. And it was like, friends and stuff. And then they had their third kids and their fourth kids and some fifth kids. Some got divorced and some this and that. And then now it's at the point where I'm like, I see kids that I babysat, kids that I taught, kids that I coached, people that I've met here in Thailand 10 years ago getting married and having kids. So it's like, I don't feel pressured really anymore. I've kind of moved on from that because, if I wanted that a long time ago, I could have had it. But for some reason I chose not to. And that's okay. I'm okay with that now. And some people might think, oh, you're lost if you don't get married, or you're lost if you're not living in America with the house and the job. I'm like, sure. I mean, you want me to say, I could tell you I'm lost a little bit. I mean, I've always been lost, but to me, lost is a good lost. Being lost brings you to some amazing fucking places, and you meet amazing people. You have amazing experiences, and I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be. So yeah, am I lost? Sure. I might be a little bit lost, but I'm also exactly where I'm supposed to be. And I'm completely okay with that now. Mm-hmm. And I think that, and like I said, I love going home and seeing my friends that are married with the kids and stuff. And it's just, that's great. And if that's for them, that's awesome. And if they're happy, that's all I care about. The people that I love, that I care about, I want them to be happy. That's all I care about. And if that's what makes them happy, fine. But what I'm doing right now, it makes me pretty happy. And I'm going to do it until I can't anymore, until my body doesn't let me, and until and if I meet someone, well.
But why did you choose? Okay, well, why did you choose that route? Like, why is that other stuff not for you? Why?
I don't know. It was always supposed to be for me. Why? If you had spoken to me when I was 16 years old, I would have said to you, by the time I'm 26, I'm going to be married with 3 kids. Done. But that changed. And, when I was 26, 27, that's when I could have gotten married. I was with someone. I could have, settled down and done it. And for some reason I didn't. And 2 years later, I ended up in Asia. And I've been here for 10 years. And I've gotten addicted to what I'm doing. And I'm really happy with the person that I've become and that I keep becoming every single day just by walking down the street and teaching internationally, and I'm finally okay with that. I'm okay with, part of me, sometimes my brain still goes back to you need roots. You got to set down roots, and you have to be home. You have to do this. You have to do that. But then I kind of, it's not necessarily rational. It's not the rational part speaking. It's more the anxiety part speaking. Like, hey, you're going to be 40, But like I said, what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing that makes me happy. I want to do crazy shit. I want to surf. I want to go to the islands. I want to, go skateboarding with you. I want to do whatever until my body can't do it anymore. And I'm not saying that I'm opposed to settling down. If I meet a girl that complements my life and that is worth my time and effort and energy, and let's be realistic, money, then she can join me. And she can do that with me. And we can have adventures together. We can have kids. We can do all that shit. I'm happy to do that. But, I want them to be global citizens too. You know what I mean? I want them to experience what a lot of people can't experience. And again, it's okay if people are staying in their home country and doing their thing. It's great. But what you can learn when you're living in a different country and you have to assimilate to another culture or learn another language or do something else like that, it's an education unlike any other that you're going to get anywhere else. And that's what I want, because I want my kids to be like, if I do have them, if I'm lucky enough to have them, to be responsible global citizens. And that's what I want.
Does it get lonely at times?
A little bit. Yeah, it can, for sure. I mean, I think the hardest part about it is the transience of it, right? Because you're away from friends and you're away from family, the people that you grew up with. So then when you come to these places,
excuse me, sorry.
It's like university. Everybody's away from home and away from their friends and family, right? So everyone wants to meet people, and you become so close with these people, they become like family, like that, the ones that you really connect with. And you have all these amazing experiences and amazing times. And then one day, they have to go. Somebody's got to go usually. And it never gets any easier because you don't know if you're going to see them again. You're going to stay in touch with them for sure. But a lot of people that I know that have been like family to me have gone home, have done the kids thing, and maybe got married, maybe got divorced. So it can get a bit lonely and transient, like because of that. But you normally have a kind of a close knit group of people. And the thing is that when you're abroad for a long time, you meet like minded people, and everyone that I meet that's been an expat, if you want to call it, or abroad for a long time, they have a similar mindset. They want more, or maybe some people might use the word lost, right? But again, it doesn't have to take on a negative connotation. It's a really nice thing to feel that way. And it's what people are addicted to that do this. And they're doing this with their kids. Maybe they're doing this alone, single, or with a significant other. And I think it's a really nice way to live life,
Yeah, bro. And I guess because it's the road less traveled, people can easily categorize it as being lost, as you say, which is quite frustrating. I think people should just mind their own business and just live how they want to live.
Yeah, but there's also people that are happy for you too. I remember my mom and dad used to ask me for like the first 2 years I was away, 3 years, like, okay, enough. When are you coming home? When are you coming home? And then eventually after some point they realized that I was really happy, and they became happy, and now they're happy to come see me. And I go home often. I go home for 8 weeks a year, and it's quality time that I get to spend with them, rather than just kind of in and out for the weekend or something like that.
How do you feel after the 8 weeks though? Towards the end of that 8 week period, do you start to get itchy feet?
Yeah, for sure. Even after the 3 weeks of Christmas, sometimes I'm ready to get back to I have a hard time. I need a routine, so it's hard for me to not have some sort of routine. I think that has something to do with it, but also there is that sense of it's so great to be home. I love being home, and I would love to. If I had my way, I'd have a house in Bali, a house in Phuket, and a house in New York, and I would just bounce back and forth. I would bring my family here. If money was no option, we would be all over the board. We'd be just bouncing around from those 3 places, because those are the 3 places that I love. And if I could do that and have a life doing that, and that's what I'm trying to work on, then that would be great.
You can do it.
I love home. I love home too. I'm not saying that I don't love home. I love my family. I'm very close. But definitely after a few weeks, it can get a bit. You Jones for that adventure. Because even living 10 years out on the road, it's like it never gets old. Riding down the street on the bike or walking down the street, it just doesn't get old. So it's. Yeah, it's a good lifestyle. Yeah,
that's what I find interesting about you. Like, you like routine, you love children, other people's children. You're a fantastic community guy. You love community. You're involved in community sports. You play team sports. You play golf. Things like that. They're all the markings of like a suburban, stay home, blue pill dad, right?
I guess it is.
But then you lead this wild life living in Bangkok. I mean, what's it like being a single male Westerner in a city like Bangkok, Thailand?
It's interesting. I'm new to the game though, fairly. I mean, it's just about February I stopped kind of got back out there, and
So you were in a serious relationship before that?
I was in.
See how I keep bringing it back to you, like your relationship status.
I was in a serious relationship for about 2 years, and when I got here, after about a year or so, that stopped, and I don't know what you would call it, seeing someone else maybe for a few months, and since about February, it's been just single. But I think I'm relatively new to the game, right? I mean, I was out of it for a while, but I've honestly now being back going on the Tinder and the Bumble thing. It's like, wow, I completely forgot how annoying this shit is.
What's your app of choice?
I don't really care. I mean, I haven't gone on a lot because I've been bored of it. So it just gets boring. It gets boring pretty quick, But again, it's kind of like the Instagram thing. It's like it kind of has you by the balls because everyone's doing it, and that's how what are you like? Sure, you want to go to a bar and be like, "Hey, that shirt looks nice on you. Like, can I buy you a drink?" Like, it cuts that step out. So it's like it's kind of easy.
Good stuff. That's the good stuff.
Yeah, well, some people like the chase. I mean, I'm not a big chaser. I'd rather have it wrapped up in a package and delivered to the front door. I don't need to go chasing shit around so much. I mean, maybe it's just because I'm not good at it.
What do you mean wrapped up in a package and delivered to the front door?
That was an analogy. Like, I don't, as opposed to like going to have to find out and chase everything, and it would be easier if it was just
Is that the problem with the world today, though? Isn't that the problem with the world? We want everything.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. I mean, everybody likes the chase, right? I mean, you like the chase. Do you like the chase, right?
I don't want to answer
the chase aspect.
I don't want to answer these sort of questions.
Yeah, I think everybody does. I'm just a weird dude.
Of course. But I guess meeting someone in a bar, as you say, like organically, you feel their chemistry and their energy in the room.
Yeah.
And then approaching them, and then let's say that things evolve from that sort of scenario. I think there's more magic in that.
Agreed.
As opposed to, hey, we're really connecting via text.
Yeah.
We're our
hey,
text.
do you have your Instagram?
Yeah, wow, we're really vibing on this text. Hey, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
And then you get to I don't know. It's a tricky game for sure. But I don't know if I'm overstepping the line here. But I want to ask it. Like,
go ask.
But if you don't want to answer it, don't have to answer it. Have you ever had your heart broken?
Yeah, twice.
Twice? Is that all?
Twice in 40 years. That's not too bad.
Twice in 40 years, man. That's good. They're good. They're good odds. They're good stats.
Yeah. It's awful. I mean, I'm glad it hasn't happened more than that, and I'm sure it'll happen again. But ultimately, was the outcome positive in the long term? The first one. It took a long time. It was, the one that I told you, I could have, settled down and gotten married and stuff. And that was the first real, big one. Yeah, I mean, I had like little ones here and there, but not like if you're asking about serious heartbreak, yeah, twice. And the first one was, I guess the positive that came out of it was eventually I did go to Thailand. I think that was kind of a kick in the butt. It took about 2 years for me to actually make the move to go. The second one definitely positives came out of it because I was older and I decided that I wanted to just completely make a transformation in a lot of different areas in my life, and it got me super focused and motivated. I think as much as it sucks, like if I were to give advice to 20-year-olds or whoever, 30-year-olds, anyone that goes through it, I think it's the best motivation possible. I mean, it's like if you can not go down the route where you're, drinking yourself into a coma or whatever, and you can just use it as fuel. I mean, it's cliche. It's what everybody says, but you can really use it to level up yourself in a lot of different ways if you just stay focused and refocus that energy. And I think that's the best advice that I got. Not even just from doing research, was like, invest in yourself. That's the biggest thing that you can do. The two things that really helped is just waiting it out and investing in yourself. Those are the two things I would tell someone, male that's going through that.
All right. How do you invest in yourself? What do you do?
First thing would be, I mean, this is my opinion, right? First thing would be physical, right? Your physical shape. You know, I was not in great shape. The second time it happened, the first time it happened, I was kind of still like, you know, mid-20s. So I was like still okay. But this time I was not in the best shape. So physically, obviously exercise and all that stuff, that gets your happy cells pumping, and, you know, and that's one thing in itself that's going to help. But once you stick to that program and start seeing the results and getting the body that you know, a different body than what you're used to, the thing is, you're never going to, the best thing is when you go through it. And if you do apply all of these things to yourself, like transforming yourself, you know, financially, maybe, physically, emotionally, like, you're never going to be that person that you started out as when you got your heart broken at first. So it's like that, you know, maybe that person fell for you when you were like that, but like now you're just going to keep moving forward. You know, you're just going to keep becoming a better person. That's another thing that kind of helped out for sure. But,
so was it like good for your confidence as well? Confidence?
Yeah, everything. Yeah. I mean, it still sucks, but you just got to turn it into something positive. I mean, what about you? Can I, how about we flip the script here?
Okay. Sure.
What do you do to deal with heartache?
Oh,
have you been heartbroken before?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
It's funny, I've been heartbroken by girls in my life. I think maybe 3 times, like 3 good heartbreaks. Like, you know, I think everyone's experienced that, where, you know, you can't eat, you can't sleep. It's all you think about.
Great for weight loss.
Great for weight loss. Great for weight loss.
Great diet. Yeah.
Yeah. And in hindsight, probably the best things that have happened to me. But yeah, I went through a heartbreak recently, but in a really different way. And my heartbreak was over my children. And that was a really different experience, but just as profound. And I find that, like you said, I strip it all back to basics when I'm in that real place of despair and anguish. I go back to good food, good activity, and people say, oh, you need to meditate and do that stuff. When I'm in those headspaces, meditation is probably like the worst thing for me, because I'm in a period of time where I don't want to be alone with my thoughts. It's too painful right now. I don't want to sit with that. So what I find, and like you said, is movement and activity becomes a meditation, but it's also a distraction. And yeah, I use it to numb out. I chose not to drink alcohol or use drugs many, many years ago, so that's not an option for me in terms of escapism. So the physical activity becomes just full-on escapism, and yeah, I'll do it addictively to a point where some people may say it's obsessive, and I'm like, well, that's how it is. If that's the worst thing, fine, you know. And I guess the byproduct of that is, yeah, your body starts to build stronger, and you get maybe a different shaped body, and then the confidence goes up. But I really do believe in healthy body, healthy mind, and when I feel physically strong, my mind gets stronger. And then because look, let's face it, everything comes in waves. Everything comes in like a storm, and the storm always passes. So once that dust is settled, the storm's passed, that's when I personally delve into things like meditation, yoga, where I do have to go internal and sift through all those hard feelings. And I believe in therapists. I don't see a therapist. I have seen therapists in the past, but I don't personally see one right now. And for some people that's great. But for me, talking with friends such as yourself, to the point of repetition, and someone that will listen to my broken record when I'm heartbroken, and they'll just listen to me tell the same story over and over and over, that has fundamentally been the biggest game changer and saved me from, you know, really delving into those dark, dark places. So there's my answer.
Yeah, man. That's dude. What you just laid it out so perfectly, man. Just the whole timeline of it, and the physical aspect, and the talking to your friends aspect, and I think like anytime, whether it's depression or heartache or whatever the case may be, you could talk, all you want, especially heartache or whatever, because if you're, like you said, you're like a broken record. And I think you said once, it's really hard to talk to someone or for someone to listen that hasn't gone through it recently, because they run out of stuff to say. I remember years ago the first time my poor mom, she was like in such pain because she didn't know she couldn't help anymore. She ran out of stuff to say, because she hadn't been through that, in a long time. And it's like, I think what you said, it's just like when you can find somebody that's just like that life preserver, even if you're having a crap day when you're depressed or whatever. And again, it's not just heartache, it's like you can speak to someone and it's just like you grab that life preserver and you get your head out of the water for a little bit, even if it's just for a brief second, and that can save you for a while, but I think the way that you laid that out, I couldn't agree more.
Yeah, but I also think when you experience extreme heartache like we've experienced, to the point of not being able to eat, sleep and all that, that's trauma. You've experienced the trauma, you've experienced a great loss, and you've had a physiological reaction to it. And my last guest, Tim Morris, who's just a legend, he's 63 years old and lived a really rich life and also faced all his demons. So he's this amazing man who's now older, but in the most happy, I see such a happy, content man, because he actually faced up to his demons and he worked through it through rigorous self-honesty. And what he was saying is, when you repetitively tell someone a story about something that's happened to you, and because I think he's a psychologist as well, like that is a byproduct of trauma. So that's what traumatized people do. So let's say someone witnesses a horrendous car accident. They might be unconsciously telling the story of what happened over and over and over, and they don't realize they're doing it. That's because they've experienced a trauma. And the only way to work through it is just to keep unraveling it and talking about it until the brain finally comprehends the scale of what just occurred. So that
makes a lot of sense.
And that's why we keep saying, like, we've got to talk. But I think people don't understand what that means. It actually means you're not just talking, you're fucking listening, and you will sometimes have to sit through the same story 1,000 fucking times. And again, like someone like you and my friend Mikey, and I know that I've maybe done similar for you and listened to your broken record, you've listened to my broken record. Fucking game changer.
Yeah, 100%. And like, some of the stuff, like I said, some of the stuff that you've told me in the past has just been, it's been the most helpful stuff. And, talking to however many people, even therapists or whoever, like, when someone says something like that, clicks like that, it's a big, and that's another, it's a big help. It's a milestone. And then you can kind of, it's a big help. And the stuff that you've said has just been brilliant. You know what I mean? Like, it's just been, I've told you that. It's just, and that comes from talking to people that are experienced in it, But this is what I love about you, Garrett. You've got this, you're really honest with yourself and your feelings. And I think it's a process of rigorous self-honesty. It's like having to really face up to your own bullshit and be honest with yourself and like, okay, did I act badly in this situation? And then own it. And I love that about you. You own it. And I think as I get older, the people that I see who really own their bullshit and are rigorously self-honest, they just turn out to be the happiest people. And there's no running from your bullshit. You can hide from it for years and years and years. You can numb it out through drugs, alcohol, gambling, sex, shopping, technology, jerking off, whatever. But I swear to God, it always catches up to you. So, I mean, have you ever met a bitter and grumpy old man? Yeah.
They're the people that don't let go of shit, or they don't own their shit, and they don't forgive other people, and they don't forgive themselves. And that's not how I want to end up, But it's fucking hard. It's hard.
It is. It is difficult. But I think kind of like that's like a kind of stereotypical kind of old traditional person that's grown up, in a different time, and who knows, maybe we'll end up like that too. But I think, they didn't have this stuff that available, like, having a podcast like this where you could, or even just a cell phone where you can pick up and talk to somebody and, or a video call or whatever, but, I think it's a good point. Like, and that's the other thing I was thinking about the other day is like, you think about these people on their deathbed. They're like, I wish my advice to you is do this and don't do this and make sure you do this and spend time with this. But like, you know what? Like, you just have to go through it, like you can listen to that and you can try and apply it as much as you can. But there's nothing more like life is just, it's a crazy ride. And it's like, you don't realize how much you learn and experience. I feel like at least for me, like till my late 30s, I was like, wow, man, I've just been, maybe it's just because I've been reflecting a lot. Like, you really can just, you go through so much and you experience so much, and you really just have to just go through it and live these experiences. You can't get a cheat code. You're never going to get the cheat code that like unlocks all of these things to make your life perfect. It's just not going to happen. Or to be the happiest human alive. Like, sure, there's happiness, people are happy, but you're never going to be able to know exactly what that is, because you have to find that. You have to experience it. You have to go through shit. No matter how many old people you listen to on their deathbeds that tell you to do this, this, and that, they're never going to give you the ultimate thing that, the ultimate practice, the cheat code, So it's like, you really do have to reflect a lot. You have to change as a person. You have to transform and do these things and figure out what's going to make you happy, because it's not, I don't know. I'm not speaking for everybody. I don't know yet. I don't really know what I truly, truly want that will say, like, make me wake up tomorrow and be like, oh, I'm the happiest person in the world because I have this, 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 and this. Because I don't know it yet. And that's okay, because I want to experience it. Like, I want to check this shit out and see, oh, okay, I like this, I like that. Boom. And then maybe one day, if I'm lucky enough, I can achieve it, and go on from there.
That skill of self-reflection that you have, and you do so well, do you think that has been something you developed as a teacher?
Maybe it's something I developed recently. I mean, you say I do it well. I don't, I think. I mean, I can, I try to now, but, it was more, maybe when I was younger, it's more like living in the past or the future, not being super present. It had to do more with that. But the reflection bit, I think, has come more, with age for me. It's something that I think is kind of recent for me. Yeah. I could be wrong, but it feels that way.
I looked at some interesting health statistics, like Australian health statistics recently, and men in their 40s are at the highest risk of suicide in our country. However, and also have the highest rates of reported mental illness, predominantly, depression, anxiety, schizophrenia, and with no surprises, also have the highest rates of substance abuse, which is substance abuse is a byproduct of mental illness. It's self-medication. However, statistically, once a man gets over 55, the stats show that they get happier, and those stats go down. So depression levels and anxiety levels start to drop off as you get older, which I found that stat really interesting, and it kind of gave me hope of, like, for men. Well, I think it gives a lot of men hope that if you just sort of get through this period, life gets better. I think maybe men start to mellow out as they get older. Who knows?
Yeah, I mean, maybe it's because they're experiencing shit. They're going through it, they're experiencing it, and they finally realize what makes them happy, or what they don't have to worry about anymore. I mean, and that's the thing. It's like worrying and stress and anxiety and stuff. I mean, it's all, everybody says, oh, it's just wasted emotion, and you control your own thoughts, and you control your emotions, and this shit and that. And like, maybe it's just me, but you can't control your emotions. Like, you can't. It doesn't. Emotion and reason, they don't really go together very well. I mean, it's too difficult. How can you control? Listen, somebody can be so fucking sad right? You think they want to be fucking sad? If they had control over it, yeah, sure, they can work towards it. They can do things they can do everything in their power and their research to try and make themselves happier, right? And sure, maybe that's what people are referring to with controlling your emotions. But if you're fucking sad, you don't want to be sad. Trust me. Nobody wants to be depressed. Nobody wants to have anxiety. If I could choose to not have anxiety over whatever or not be so fucking stressed, if you said, hey, if you chop your right pinky off, you're never going to feel depressed ever again in the rest of your life. Go ahead.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
No, where's the knife, mate?
Let's go. I'm ready.
Is it that easy? Is that easy to control your emotions? Like, I don't believe it. I don't know. Maybe I just haven't reached that point yet in my life where I can control it. But I don't know. You and I have had conversations about it before. It's difficult. Emotion and reason, they're kind of like, they don't necessarily attract,
Dude, yeah. Oh, God. I think we talked about this before, but for me, it's just surrendering to your emotions. You don't have to act on them, though. Like when I'm angry, I can be angry and that's okay, but I don't have to act on it. So I think you can harness your emotions, but you can't really stop the storm of emotions, whether it be for some people. Some people are more, those impulses are more intense than others, and that's okay. It's just when you fight against them, that's when I feel like it's onsets depression and anxiety, because it's exhausting. Like you said, no one wants to be sad, but if you sit there going, stop being sad, stop being sad, stop being sad, then you get the negative self-talk going like, oh, I'm so hopeless, I can't stop being sad. Well, you just compound the problem and you get exhausted. But I feel, and I've been saying this a lot, and it's just because it's working for me, when I get sad, I be sad. And I sit in the sadness, I'll fucking wallow in it. I'll watch YouTube for 2 hours of watching just stupid shit on YouTube, be depressed, and then I just snap out of it or something, It's like, and if I get angry too, like, anger's one that I think a lot of men have to be careful of, because you don't want to turn into a Will Smith, and just go slapping everyone, But it's okay. I just think, men, it's okay to be angry, but just don't mix it with alcohol. That's the fundamental one. Don't mix anger with alcohol or drugs. Just do it sober and maybe avoid people and just let the storm pass. So be angry, just don't act on it. I think that's the key for men, And that's
brilliant, yeah.
And I must admit, when I do that, I'm in a stage in my life where I don't feel angry as often. Hardly at all. Like there's some triggers in my life that trigger anger, but it just passes so fucking quick, I don't know. Yeah,
that's brilliant, and that might be a result of what you've been practicing or what you just said. Letting it pass, and I love that. I think that's brilliant, man. Like let the storm pass, and it reminds me of that. I don't know if you saw that. There was this like clip going around on Instagram, of course, with fucking all the big daddies. It was like Jamie Foxx, Tom Hanks, Robert De Niro maybe, or Al Pacino, one of the two, a couple other people, and they were talking about like, letting things pass, and just like, if you're sad, just hold on. If you're depressed, you're angry, just hold on, wait it out. If anything, time is your ally. Just wait it out. It will pass. Even if you're happy, it's going to pass. Just wait. Time is just going to, I love that. It was a brilliant little...
Just seasons, man. And like, again, it's representative of everything around us, our whole environment. Everything works in seasons. Yeah. The wind changes, the tide changes, the weather changes, the temperature changes. It's like your emotions. And the funny thing is, humans are part of nature, but we forget we are. So, the way we operate is very in line with the philosophies and the concepts of nature, So,
absolutely, man.
Yeah, and so it's the same thing. But I don't know. Absolutely. I sort of came into this podcast with you tonight thinking like, I don't know, like, because you just cracked me up. Like, you might be one of the funniest people I know. And I was like, I want to talk. And we always talk about and mine, our, being single males. And
Yeah,
we have some funny talks about it, and I thought we'll get all funny in this podcast, and then we go all deep and shit again. God damn it!
We got fucking deep, man. Well, I'll tell you what, we should at some point, even if it's not today, we got to kind of talk about our what do you call them? Our escapades as 40-year-old guys in our 40s dating again. Could be pretty funny, especially on Tinder. I'm in Thailand. I mean, I got some really funny fucking. Some funny stories. Some really. We got to. What does?
Just being a man in your 40s, like on Tinder.
No,
not pathetic.
Why?
Is it
why
just
would it feel pathetic?
I don't know. I don't know.
Who cares? Fuck it. It's not like your life is going to be controlled by Tinder or whatever. It's funny. It's hilarious. I mean, listen, you could go. I'll go on right now. I could pick out some fucking. Actually, you know what would be funny? I got you. I tell you what we're gonna do. Here's how we're gonna start. Here's how we're gonna start the comedy hour. Are you ready?
Go, I'm ready.
You're using Bumble, correct?
Oh man, don't put me on the spot like that.
I'm putting you on the spot because listen, I don't want to make fun of other profiles until I start with making fun of mine. So I'm gonna read you my profile, right? Oh wait, hold on.
Go, I'm ready.
Look at this. Hold on, before I start, this chick is unbelievable. That is definitely the right swipe. Match, baby! Right off the bat. Do I keep swiping? You're a good luck charm.
Really?
90% of them are. Yeah, 90% of them are lefters. There's a lot of. See, I don't want to start talking. Let's start talking about. I'm going to read you my profile just because it's so fucking.
Okay, I'm ready. No. The one you match. I want to read. Okay, read us your one, but I want to hear the profile of the guy who just matched it.
I mean, we have to. If we're gonna talk shit, we might as well talk shit about ourselves first, right? All right, Garrett, 39, obviously.
You're not. And I thought you said you just turned 40.
No, I'm turning 40 in August.
Ah, okay.
So I just realized I didn't know Bumble changes your picture. Did you know that? So it changed. This is my picture now.
So you're on Bumble. I thought you said you're on Tinder.
I'm on both, baby. What are you? I mean, come on. You can't you're just going to put all your marbles in one bag, and you got to get your hands in all the cookie jars, mate. There's different types of food.
That's a lot of work. That's a lot of work. So Tinder and Bumble are the two biggest ones in Thailand?
I think so, yeah. I don't know if there are any other ones.
Okay.
I know at home, isn't there like Hinge and all that shit?
Yeah, Hinge is popular here.
Look, so
I'm not on it. I'm not on it.
I know. I'm embarrassed even. I don't even know why I.
Go read your profile. Read your.
So yeah, so they have this. They have the picture. This is the one they chose, right? But it was this one. Wait till I show you this one. Look at this. This is the one that I chose as my first picture.
Oh, that's a good photo. That's like a proper model photo. That's a professional photo.
Oh, it's pathetic. It's pathetic.
It's great.
But anyways, I went with Richard Cooper's advice here. You got to have one with your friends, right?
Yeah.
Picture with your friends.
Gotcha.
See, I'm divulging all these things, and now I'm not going to get any matches here.
Who's
and then
Richard
you got to
Cooper?
have. He says he's the author of the Unplugged Alpha. If you haven't read it, make sure you read it. I'm going to promote his ass right now. Look, and then he says you got to have like a few professional shots taken, right? Then you got to have one again with your doing something fun with your buddies.
Yeah.
Maybe something with kids.
Whose
and
kid
then
is
and
that?
then you got the Instagram.
Did you borrow
that's
someone's
Jade's kid? Oh yeah,
you,
and some free diving, right?
Did you borrow someone's kid for
I asked him to. I was like, "Yeah, can I borrow your cute kid to put her on my shoulders? Grab a picture while you're at. I'm gonna throw it up on Bumble." All right, so are you ready for this? This is so fucking bad.
Shit, your profile looks so good. Keep going.
Hell no, are you kidding?
It looks great.
You're going to read yours next, I'm telling you now.
I don't have one.
It's a load of dog shit. I'll tell you what, I gotta change this. I'm embarrassed to say it.
Don't be embarrassed.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
An international school well-being teacher just trying to enjoy life as it comes. And then I have all these fucking stupid fucking emojis like surfing, like wine, some sports stuff, and then I have my Instagram account. I mean, come on. What is that? An international school well-being teacher just trying to enjoy life as it comes. What a fucking loser.
No, but you wrote that. Why are you talking it down? I think it's good. You just matched.
Nah, I must have got it. All right, I'll read you my Tinder one next.
Okay, but I want to ask you a question. Like, let's say, okay, you just match with a girl. Like, let's say she initiates the conversation, which is really just a series of text messages. I hate it being called a conversation.
Right. I'm gonna stop you there. I'm gonna stop you there. You said I'm gonna throw you under the bus here. You said, let's say she initiates the conversation when you and I both know that on Bumble the female has to initiate the conversation. Correct?
Okay, correct.
Carry on with the question.
I got nowhere to hide. What are some opening lines that really annoy you?
I mean, they're all the same. It's hi.
Hi.
I mean, come on. There's no banter. There's no banter whatsoever. I mean, that's here.
They're
I don't know
breaking the
about
ice.
over there, but
they're breaking the ice.
I mean, hi. Come on.
What about how are you? How do you feel about how are you?
No, look at the profile. Look at the profile and say something clever or make fun of me or something.
So it could be like, so is that your kid? Like, would you prefer that?
I would prefer that over like hi, because then it's like then hi, okay, hi, great, hi.
So you'd prefer him to like look at your profile and make reference to something in your profile? Is that your advice?
To who? My advice to who? Girls or
me? Look at the guns on you, dude. Holy shit! Have you been working out? Do that again.
A little bit.
Holy fuck. Garrett!
I got the matching mandate.
Oh, dude, show us your new tattoo. No way. You get a mandate tattoo? What the fuck? That tattoo's massive.
It's fucking huge, dude.
No way, dude. That's crazy.
So let me ask you a question. I mean, when you're in these text battles or whatever you call it, and the other person that you're speaking to is not giving you. They're either giving you one-word answers or not asking you questions. They're not actually conversing. What do you do?
Block.
I mean, yeah, the answer is bye. Like, no, like, so it's like, that's what makes it tiring. That's what makes this shit so tiring. But again, it cuts out the middle.
The thing is, girls don't care because girls don't care if you just shut them down because they get so many options compared to you, generally.
Yeah, for sure.
And so,
for
I think for females, dating apps would be such a different experience. Like, we might be groveling for a match where they're sifting through matches. They're overwhelmed with matches. It's like culling for a job interview.
No, we're not groveling for a match. Okay, come on, don't put us.
Is that a beta thing to say?
That's a beta comment, mate. Come on,
really?
We're not groveling for a match. You know that. You know that as well as I do. Come on.
I don't know, man. I don't like him. I'll be honest. I don't like him. I just feel like it's. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, because I don't drink and go to bars, I guess. I don't want to talk about this. I can't talk about it.
Come on, I thought this was gonna be funny. Like, we got to talk about our shitty dating experience, right?
I want to talk about your shitty dating experiences.
Well, see, I don't have any shitty dating experience. They're all good experiences.
No, to be honest, like, I think you've dropped so many like good pieces of knowledge and information. I kind of almost don't want to. I don't want the podcast to end on like a. I don't want to devalue the quality of what we were talking about because it was some beautiful stuff you said earlier, man.
You're right. We can save the bullshit for another one. We'll save that for our real comedic experience.
But a serious question, like, is monogamy unrealistic?
Oh, well,
from Garrett's perspective.
Okay, but see, this perspective has changed a lot over the last couple of years or couple months, even. It depends on how you look at it, right? Are you a fairy tale guy or are you a science and factual guy?
Fairy tale guy.
Because you're like, listen, it's like the internet, right? You can Google, is the sky blue? And you can find a zillion people that say it's not, and a zillion articles that say it's not and a zillion articles that say it is. So you have to sift through the fucking dirt to find the gold, right? So,
Yeah.
I mean, which side do you want? Do you want the fairy tale answer, or do you want the scientific answer, or do you want to take a little bit of both and end up in the middle? Because I think you can take 3 routes there.
You think the middle? I don't like the middle. I don't like the middle road. You know, I was thinking about it, like this concept of, I mean, dating apps really drive, you know, more casual sex.
Yeah.
Okay, it does. Like the
Right.
possibility for more casual sex has, I think, increased more than it ever has in our society. Let's face it. I mean,
Sure,
the last time I was single, dating apps didn't exist. But look, I don't know. I'm going to get deep again. Look, as I get older, I actually take sex a lot more seriously, because I really think when you do that with someone, you're really like plugging in, like, for lack of a better term. You know, you're connecting with that person, and you're also connecting to their experiences, their trauma. And I think that when you connect with someone physically, you take on their elements of their baggage just automatically, and I think spiritually, because God, you're
Jesus Christ! What are you going to start pulling out crystals and shit and start talking about?
And what I'm saying is, like, but what I'm saying is, because like, then you do that, and then, you know, like, that's when have you ever been in a relationship and you go and you say like a new relationship and you're like, oh, that person's got baggage? Have you ever heard that?
Mm-hmm.
I just think when you have lots of casual sex, you accumulate all this baggage, and then, you know, if you do find someone you want to settle with, you know, they've got to sift through all your baggage and bullshit, and I think ultimately it leads to misery. If I'm completely straight, that's how I feel. And then going into a bigger picture thinking, I think fundamentally what's wrong with our societies is the advent of broken relationships, and broken relationships lead to broken children in a lot of cases, not all the time. You know, and then broken children become broken adults, and then the cycle continues.
The cycle repeats. Yeah.
Yeah,
correct.
and I don't want to go that heavy and deep, but that's how I feel. Sorry.
So are you saying you're not a monogamy person then? You think it's not?
No, like, well, I question how realistic monogamy is, because so many people cheat in relationships. It's like, yeah, I know, like, stereotypically the man cheats, maybe, you know, and some people could say, oh, primarily it's just, you know, men aren't designed to be monogamous, you know, but I think I understand the role of monogamy in terms of making children feel safe. Fundamentally, it does. It makes them feel secure and safe, and it's that simple, in my opinion. Too deep,
for sure. But no,
I feel like I'm disappointing you.
You're not at all. Listen. I mean, I think what you were talking about, the baggage thing, right? Like, listen, everybody has fucking baggage. Everyone is broken. There's no one that's not broken. There's no one that doesn't have red flags. We talked about like everyone has red flags. So you're not going to find someone that doesn't. You're not going to find someone that doesn't have some sort of baggage. It doesn't exist. So if you want to be monogamous with someone, you're going to have to be able to take on that baggage, give your baggage, or find some sort of, you know, in between, because you're never going to find somebody that doesn't have baggage. Even if you think that they don't have baggage, you can think that you know somebody and for 5 years not know them, and then, you know, 5 years later you're like, holy shit, who is this person that, like, I've literally been in love with and I just don't know anymore, you know? That shit can happen. It happens all the time. I hear it every day, you know? So I think what it comes down to is, like you said, like, monogamy is very, very, very fucking difficult, I think. Do I think it's impossible? No. Do I if you spoke to me a few years ago, I'd say, oh, yeah, there's only one, and you got to find, you know, I want to be married and settle down and, you know, be head over heels and, you know, wipe the drool off each other's chin when we're 80, and then when she dies, I die the next day from heartbreak. Well, listen, does that happen? Yeah. But, I mean, I want you and I want anyone else to tell me how many people they know that has happened to. Realistically,
Yeah.
and numerically, if you want to look at something from a science standpoint or a mathematics standpoint or a factual standpoint, I mean, it sucks. The statistics are not good. When I was growing up, it was 50% of marriages lasted. And now that's got to be way fucking higher because of, well, everything that we've talked about. So again, I ask you, I think you can go a few different routes on your beliefs in regards to monogamy. You can follow along the Disney princess and prince route where you live happily ever after and you have kids and everything is fine and dandy, if that's what you believe in. Then you have the other route where there's absolutely no way that you're going to be monogamous with one person for your entire life without fouling up, without cheating, or you can try and find some place in the middle. I mean, I think it's difficult. It's a really difficult topic. It's a really difficult topic.
You can move the big trend in Canggu when I was there recently. It's all about open relationships now. Everyone's talking about open relationships,
sure, and that's
But again, I don't know that. I'm trying to be open-minded. I'm okay, because let's face it, the old model's not working. But is there an open relationship model the answer as well? Or does that lead to more misery? I'm just thinking, how can I avoid fucking misery? Because relationships cause so much misery for so many people. And everyone's looking for the answers.
Sure.
So it's like, let's have an open relationship. Like, we're together, we're committed, but I'm going to go fuck that person that I really want to fuck. And you can as well. I'm cool with that.
Yeah. First of all, you can't base anything off of Canggu. As much as we love it, that place is fucked. I would love to live there. I'm going to go back there and live there one day. But the people are fucked. They're fucked.
Man.
They're not fucked, but I love. You know what? The best is following the Canggu pole. It's like Canggu in a nutshell. I love it. But no, I'm just kidding. I love Canggu. I love everything about it. But
I love it because it's an extreme cross section of the Western world. So all the extreme souls that are extreme in their beliefs, not functioning in the Western society, end up in Canggu. And then they're surrounded by other people, and then it's like normal there. But also, that's where progression or regression occurs. So they're either going to fucking change the world or they're going to, I don't know.
I love it, man. I'm going to go back to Canggu in June 2023. I'm going to go right back to Amo Spa and listen to everybody talk about their fucking chakras and fucking crystals and all this shit. And I don't care because I love it so much. I'm there.
That's Ubud, man. That's where that shit happens, crystals and stuff.
I'm telling you, well, it's you hear it in Amo too, for sure. Amo is the best. I'd kill a bum to go back to Amo right now. I wish you and I'll tell you what, I wish you and I were doing the podcast in the sauna as we speak. Are you kidding me? That would be unbelievable. But you know that open relationship thing you're talking about?
What do you think?
That's like the monogamy thing. It's the percentages that's going to last are fucking slim to none. Someone's going to get hurt. One of the parties is going to get hurt at some point. It's what it is. I've heard of open relationships also and swingers and all that stuff. And it's similar to how many marriages last forever. It's a similar number. So where do you go from there then?
Well, I think it just leads, again, I think it would lead to ultimate misery. Again, it's just people not taking the act of sex and intimacy seriously. I can't believe these words are coming out of my mouth. Like, I feel like such a fucking, just so old saying that. But, I'm just trying to, I feel like I can get my head around most concepts in this world. But when it comes to men and women, I'm going to say heterosexual relationships because that's all I can identify with, I cannot get my head around that concept. A workable concept of that relationship. Sorry, I just can't work.
The open one?
I just can't understand heterosexual relationships. I'm looking for the answer to them. It's like you said, can you get you want the Hollywood version of rom-com style, meeting the one and falling in love and settling down. Like,
Yeah.
are we being sold a lie? But then it's like, okay, now there's people saying, oh, we'll have an open relationship that'll sustain longevity in our marriage or relationship. But then I'm like, I don't know. I just think that would lead to more harm and misery because, again, when you connect with multiple people, you're not connecting as deeply as you would if you were repeatedly connecting with one person only.
Yeah, and I think
I don't even know where I'm going with this shit.
I don't like how you said how you feel old. Saying I think it's more of a deeper understanding and meaningful experience rather than old, right? I mean, it's you're not going to hear a 21-year-old talking like that, but like it's because you've been through certain stuff and you have experience. So it's like
Maybe.
it's I mean, and you're questioning it. So like I don't have any answer, but it's like I feel like now we live in a time where it's like, okay, it's not like back in the 50s where you have to get married and have kids and settle down and shit. It's at least there are options. There are different options that you can take,
True.
Who knows? Who knows what the answer is,
I guess you don't know what you don't know. And maybe that's the problem. Like, and I don't know if you suffer from this, like the overthinking, overanalyzing. It's maybe just go, that the philosophy of just going where the good energy is, where, maybe that's the way to go. I don't know.
Overthinking is the thing, man. That's your and I's. We have a rough go with that. That's for sure. Overthinking, overanalyzing. It's
yeah, but
easy.
It's also a gift. It's also a superpower, in my opinion, if you harness it.
How so?
I just think that it can be painful, but can also take it to different levels of understanding and enlightenment. And enlightenment's a strong word, but just deeper levels of understanding, and that's going to produce better experiences in life because you're making more thoughtful decisions. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah.
It's finding that balance. And don't get me wrong, I know people that are ignorant, they live in ignorance, ignorance is bliss, and they're happy as hell, and I'm super jealous of them, and they don't overthink anything, and life just happens for them, but
you don't know that. You don't know what else they have to deal with. You don't know what their struggle is.
It's true.
So
it's true.
It's not everything. Trust me. You don't know. Yeah, like what the fuck am I talking about? Like I know what the fuck I'm talking about. I'm a 30. What am I? I'm speaking like I'm a 65-year-old guy that's gone through fucking everything. Jesus, Garrett.
It's good to work through it though. It's good to work through it. Like I'm glad that we're just discussing it openly. Like we'll listen back to it one day and just go like, oh fuck, we were so lost and confused. But I think
lost is good.
But we put this expectation on ourselves. Oh, we're in our 40s. We should have our shit together. I think that's actually bullshit. I think if age doesn't mean you're any wiser, in my opinion. Maybe a little bit.
When do you ever have your shit together, though? Really? When do you ever have your shit together? I mean, sure, maybe when you're 50s, 55, 60. I know a lot of people that don't have their shit together. They're just doing what I said before. They're going through life, learning it and living it and figuring it out as they go. How do you know that the person that does have their shit together doesn't have a lot of shit going on underneath that you don't even know about?
Yeah, that's true.
What is the definition of having your shit together? Being financially free, being mentally stable, being physically fit. Again, this is all on the. You don't know what goes on.
Yeah, you don't, and that's it. We just have to focus on the whole concept of one day at a time and living our best life individually.
That's it, brother.
Well, listen, bro, it's been epic, and it's also midnight here in Australia.
Yeah, man, it's time for you to go to bed, and I expected us to go the funny route next time, one of these days.
Do you want to do a comedy show?
Yeah, let's give it a go one of these days. I mean, we talked about it before. Let's give it a go one of these days for sure.
Okay, we'll pick a concept like we can review. Yeah. We'll review dating apps. That'll be our first show.
Yeah, start by reviewing our pathetic profiles and then move on to other people's pathetic
what are you talking about? Your profile was so pro. You had professional photos. You had someone else's kid. Come on, man. You had your friends. Yeah. They weren't even your friends. Like you borrowed some friends.
Yeah, those fake ones, exactly. Yeah.
That's good, man. Well, listen, man.
Listen, I really appreciate you having me on again. And I feel it always feels really fun to talk to you and talk things out. It's always enlightening for me. And again, I'm super proud of what you've done with the show, and I love it. And keep going. Don't stop, man, because obviously you've grown it this much. It's just going to keep going up from here for sure.
Thanks, Garrett, man. Thanks for being part of the journey. Listen, I ask all guests to come to the podcast with a cause they want to support or advocate for. Have you got a charity or something you'd like to advocate for today?
The last one, what is the last one I did? Was it the Asia Center Foundation, right?
Yeah. You want to advocate for that again? Okay.
Well, that's always a good one. Actually, they've picked back up again. I think they're still, they're definitely growing and stuff. There's another company that we're going to look to start working with called Trash Lucky.
Trash Lucky? Yeah.
I don't know a whole lot about them yet. They're in Bangkok. It's a recycling company that's kind of basically going to schools and putting in place recycling, Well, they go to the schools and give they bring bins and stuff and give you seminars and the kids seminars on how to use the equipment and all that. And
what's it called?
The importance of recycling. Trash Lucky.
Trash Lucky. Yeah. Okay, I'll check it out.
Trash Lucky Bangkok. Thailand's most rewarding recycling program.
No worries. That's a great one. Okay,
yeah, it's pretty cool. They have it's cool. It's a cool program.
Awesome. Good one, man. So I'll put a link to Trash Lucky in this episode's show notes. And just as a reminder, subscribers to the THT Patreon, the funds from that will be used to donate to the various charities that my guests advocate for. So we'll donate a little bit of money to that cause. And you can find this episode on a variety of different platforms other than the one you're listening to now, such as terriblehappytalks.com, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Buzzsprout, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, Podcast Addict, Overcast, and whatever platform you like to listen on. It always helps if you leave a review, maybe give it a rating. These things help the podcast to, reach a bigger audience. So legends like Garrett Stratford-Cutler can get his voice out there. Thank you, brother.
Thank you, man.
All right, man.
Love you.
Love
Chat
you, buddy.
soon, buddy.
Stay on the line.
Love you.
Stay there.
All right.